My wealthy uncle took me in after my parents abandoned me. My wealthy uncle took me in after my parents abandoned me. I was 12 when it happened, old enough to understand but too young to carry it. One day I came home from school and found my clothes stuffed into a trash bag by the door. My parents sitting at the table like they were discussing a schedule change instead of my life. They said they couldn't afford me anymore, like I was some extra bill they didn't want to pay. My dad barely glanced up from his phone. My mom cried, but it wasn't the kind of crying that meant she loved me. It was guilt, mixed with relief. She handed me my backpack, my school folder, and said I'd be staying with family who could give me more. 2 hours later, my Uncle Mark pulled up in a black SUV. He didn't ask what happened or why. He just looked at me, really looked at me, and said, "Grab what matters. You're coming home with me." That was the first time someone chose me. The ride to his place felt unreal. His house was massive, sitting on a hill with gates that opened like something out of a movie. Inside, everything smelled like fresh wood, clean floors, and actual peace. He showed me a room he had set up weeks earlier, just in case. It had soft lights, a new bed, and a framed picture of us from a barbecue when I was 8. He said he found it in a drawer and thought I might want it near me. I cried silently that night because no one had ever prepared anything for me before. For weeks, I walked around waiting for him to get tired of me. I was quiet, careful, and constantly apologizing for things I didn't even do. But every time I apologized, he'd say, "You don't need to earn your place here. It's already yours." He signed my permission slips, attended parent-teacher conferences, and learned the name of every teacher I had. When basketball season started, he sat in the bleachers at every game wearing a giant foam finger with my name on it. At first I felt embarrassed, then it started feeling like belonging. On my 13th birthday, he took me to a diner and gave me a small box. Inside was a house key on a silver chain. He told me, "This is home. Not until something better comes along. Not until your parents change their mind. Home." I wore that key every single day. Years passed, and he became more of a father to me than the man who shared my DNA ever was. He taught me how to drive in an empty parking lot. He stayed up late quizzing me for exams. When I failed my first big test, he didn't yell. He bought pizza and said, "Failing means you tried. We'll try again tomorrow." When graduation day came, I walked the stage as valedictorian. In the crowd, my uncle stood holding that same foam finger. After the ceremony, he hugged me so tight I could barely breathe, whispering, "You made your own path, kid." Last month, something unexpected happened. My birth mother texted me for the first time in years. She said they wanted to reconnect now that life has settled, and hinted they were struggling and could use support from family. For a moment, that old wound opened again. But then I remembered all the nights my uncle sat with me when I had nightmares, all the times he chose me without hesitation. So I replied, "I already have a family, and he never abandoned me." When I showed the message to my uncle, he didn't gloat or say, "I told you so." He just pulled me into a hug and whispered, "You deserved better from the beginning." And for the first time in my entire life, I truly believed it, because he taught me what family actually looks like.